Space Engineers now has fish. Well, it has an aquarium. The latest update, or the DLC Decorative Pack 3 for Space Engineers, is here, and I'm going to give you a quick and concise video showing you the new blocks that are available in the update. To make it clear, all the blocks that are paid for are red, all the blocks that are free are yellow. I'm going to cover these blocks very quickly and kind of give you the ins and outs of them at the same time. So starting here, we have these industrial fans, but in fact they are large atmospheric thrusters. We've got 4 variants of them. We've got the square, we've got the D-shaped, and we've got these smaller variants as well. Now the smaller ones are actually half block size and are very, very compact. One of the most compact thrusters in the game, so it's going to be interesting to see what players do with them. And to answer the question, can you get stuck in the turbine blade? No, you cannot. So continuing this way, we have got new panelled corners. So we've got a round corner and we've got this flat curved slope here as well, available on both large and small ship blocks in heavy and light armour. Moving on, we've got ourselves the button panel pedestal and the control panel pedestal. So this is just a nice detailed pedestal with a button mounted on top. Available, of course, in small and large ship variant, and these are just going to be a handy thing you can press or even grab onto if your ship turns rapidly upside down and you have to spam your control panels. Now, what really is quite exciting about this update is the changes to the wheel block. So we've got a new addition, and this is a 1 scale block. So you can see it only pops out 2, and that's great news because the previous one was 3. So it means it changes the suspension up just like this. So instead of having a suspension that sticks all the way out like this, you can build a really cool compact design. Coming over here, we have 6 new signs. Most of them are focused around AI, and I personally think they might be useful for detailing areas, but this one is the real useful one, directing arrows. Combine that with a holographic LCD that I'll show you in a moment, and I think it'll be a nice combination. Now, the final part of the free DLC, we have ourselves an assembler over here. Cool little model. You've got a little operational hatch up there, and you've got yourself a catwalk, but that's not really what I want to show you. I want to show you this right here. So in production, we have ourselves new tabs. It breaks down your equipment into tools, weapons, ammo, so you can find what you need, especially them missile rounds when you're looking for them. Now, continuing on, let's talk about paid DLC. So it starts with the armor. We always get 1 armor each update, and this is like a battered, shot up armor. It's got rips and tears, you've got wiring exposed, and it's got bullet holes. Fantastic. I've always wanted one with bullet holes in a damaged armor. This is probably going to become one of my favorites next to the rust one. You can see some of these shrapnel holes and tears to the armor. On the small ship grid on this big panel, you can see it's got lots of smaller bullet holes that I like the look of, but on a small ship it does look fantastic. You don't get to see this repetitive nature of it like you do on this panel here. Now let's talk DLC. We've paid for this bit, so let's see if it's worth it. So we've got the scaffolding walkways. Now this was a mod for a long time, and players really enjoyed this. So each one of these scaffolding walkways is actually walkable. You can go through it, you can try and crouch through different areas. Some of them are blocked off, some of the areas you can walk through, but they put quite a lot of detail into having these blocks look like they could be disassembled and assembled, you know, in a hurry, like scaffolding actually is. So we've got the half, we've got the catwalk variant with some grab handles, we've got inverted variants, we've got a little mini walkway, we've got a ladder walkway, the best option ever. We need more ladders in Space Engineers, and we've got this one with the beam going through it as well. So if we just step through it there, you can see we have ourselves a really simple, straightforward scaffolding block. Not much else to report. Now, coming over into this segment, we've got ourselves the new solar panels. These are colorable solar panels, so they can be whatever color you want, so they can match into the ship's design. You'll only notice one thing: there is 2 different sort of variants in the shading, whatever color you select, so this adds a little bit of detail to it. It looks a bit disco-y, from my opinion. Now, coming over here, the interesting thing is that the large panels are exactly the same as the vanilla, so don't panic. There's no benefit of this DLC content. It just looks a bit different, a bit more detailed. And the smaller one, or the triangle-shaped one, actually outputs it less than the large one. But at the same time, they cost exactly the same as each other in parts. So nothing to worry about there. This one costs a little bit less. Now moving swiftly on, we have the new med bay. This one is complete with an area, of course, where you can change your suit, and if you pop over here you can also charge your suit. The detailing in this one is really quite nice. You've got this terminal in the center, you've got these gas tanks on the side, and coming around the back we've got ourselves 2 connection points. We don't have any connection points on the bottom or the top, so that's how you'd be connecting it up. Now moving further on, we have ourselves the barrels. We've got the regular barrels here on the left, and we have the deadly, dangerous, explosive barrel here on the right. Now these barrels are multiplied by how much storage you have inside. So if you've got a stack of 3 barrels, you've got 3 times the storage, and a stack of 10, you've got 10 times the storage here. Of course, that'll be different to what world settings you have. But you have a nice access on this little plug on the top of the barrels. And you can access that on all of these like so, and including the small barrel right there. Now the explosive barrel is not colorable, so it stays red whatever color I try to apply to it. And secretly inside here, it is just a timer block, so it's just like the other warhead block. So if we set this to explode and we compare this to the warhead explosion, you'll notice it's incredibly small. Now some of you might have had the bright idea, maybe stick some explosives in a regular barrel and make a contemporary sort of explosive barrel. Well, this doesn't work. The barrel explodes, but the explosives inside just get damaged and don't blow up. Now moving swiftly on, we have ourselves the cargo crate. Now this was featured nicely within the run-up to the launch of this, and it's just a box where you can dump any item really. It's got quite a nice bit of storage to it, but sadly the amount and the value of storage does not change on the side of the box. It always sits the same. So if we take this out or load this in, it is the same there, but it's nice to have an animated block. Moving quickly on, we've got ourselves the new cockpit. We've got the cab cockpit, and it's only available in the small ship variant. There isn't any side doors. There's access to the back, access through the windows, and access on the top and through the escape hatch. You've got 2 connectors on the front, 1 on the, well, 2 on the back and 1 underneath. So let's bring our camera over here for a second. And as we dive inside here, this cockpit has a lot of details going on here. How the character actually squeezes through into the seat is completely unknown to me, but you've got a really nice view from inside this cockpit, complete with the all hail clang up there. So it's got a nice view, easy accessible gauges, just a simple but fantastic cockpit to add. Now coming over here, we have the new beacon, and I couldn't resist. I had to paint one up in a tan colour because it looks like something that Tau would use in 40k. But what surprises me about this beacon is it has all the features of the other beacon, but it doesn't glow. I was expecting maybe a beacon at the top to flash or something. Maybe they kind of changed that out, but it just looks a bit untraditional for a Space Engineer's block, this, even though it has such lovely details like these little nuts that are holding it down to the base. We've obviously got the small variant here with these little arrows, perhaps for cooling with the beacon, perhaps at high volume or sending out signal far. But moving on, we have ourselves the new wind turbine. Now there is something weird about this, and I'm not sure if Keen have just overlooked it, but if we grab ourselves our welder out and we come over here, have a look at the components in the bottom right. Now have a look at the components of the regular turbine. It's the same. It requires the same amount of components, but it produces more power. So maybe something they need to have a look at, because currently that means if you buy the DLC, you'll have access to this. Yes, it's 5x5x5. It is giant compared to this one, but you can produce more power while using the same components. There's some lovely detail going on in this little sort of blade section at the bottom here as well. A really nice model. I like to use this. It's just the scale of it, complete with this little antenna on the top here. Yeah, lots of lovely detail and gone into that one. Now coming over here, let's make our rush back down to the other end. We have ourselves a new cryopod. So this cryopod is an inset, and you'd expect it to have a door on the side here, but it's got tons of detailing inside here. We've got pipes, almost too much detailing I'd say in here. Someone's got a little bit pipe crazy. And that block over the back is just quite flat with a single connector to the rear. Let's see if it's got anything underneath it. So I know that's a good question. I think it does. Yeah, so it's got a connector on the rear and underneath to connect that cryopod up. Now moving along, we have ourselves these lovely holographic projector screens, and what's even nicer about them is you can run right through them. There's no hitbox, so you could use these in areas like a bridge or somewhere where you're a bit short on space. You've obviously got the smaller versions here. Now what I will say is if you're having an issue, say for instance you've got this sort of LCD screen and it's just flat like that, it looks awful, doesn't it? All you have to do is access the panel and turn the background down to 0, and then you'll get a traditional looking holographic effect. Very cool indeed. Now we've got 3 new variants of the LCD panel here. We've got a square, a sloped and a curved corner. All I can see possible with these is maybe plastering whip scripts all over your ship and making some sort of crisis suit that can morph into the skybox, perhaps, I don't know. Now moving on, we have ourselves the inset couch. complete with me sitting on it right there. Now what's useful about these is I think Keen plan on using them as kind of a multi-stage decorative block, so you could use either side within the wall of your ship to help decorate it. So you can see there, so basically you've got 4 blocks in one. It's like a 4 block decorative block in one. Let's continue on. We've got the bed, so this is what I'd call another 4 in 1 sort of block. Sleeping to the side this time, complete with a plushie in the background, and these blocks actually have a bit of storage in some of the areas, so you've got like a little cargo bay there, and at the foot locker, lockers on the side. So I think Keen's idea is to kind of give you 4 blocks in one to help decorate your ship. Then we've got this LCD panel. That's not an LCD panel, it's actually a button panel. So you've got buttons 1, 2, 3 with MGW. I'm not sure what MGW is, but we've got these little screens on the side here with little controls and relays. Some beautiful detailing going on here, but another 4 in 1 sort of decorative block. Moving ourselves on, we have another jukebox, but this one has all these little cool features, and it even has a Space Engineers console down at the bottom. So you've got the plushies, you've got the coffee, you've got the books, various different games called Space Ammunition, MGW, Made In, so I think they just took random words, Compressed. And then they've got this weird Space Engineers game console. It looks a little bit like a Wii and a PlayStation had a baby. Let me know in the comment section what sort of console you think that looks like. Coming up and around the side, you've got the entertainment system. You've got the calm music has stopped. But what I really like is they've got these little tiny buttons that you can press here. So you can access and turn the music on and off. And you've got the little console controls here. Made in space. This is really cool. I really like the idea of this controller. It looks like a miniature spaceship. Coming around the side, you've got various different uses for these decorative blocks. Just going to fly around them. So this is going to be nice, like a little server rack detail in a room. Coming a bit further on, we've got the library block. So library with some storage. We've got some racks with the ROS coffee mug. ROS is one of the factions within the Space Engineers sort of story. We've got this kitchen sort of block, complete with like a coffee maker. There's a lot of detail gone into these decorative blocks. They're really nice little art pieces. And I think this is the sort of thing that the Space Engineers community don't mind paying for, to have something like this to detail the ship. But another 4 little blocks in one. And then finally, my favourite block of the DLC. I think this block's worth probably your $4.99, your $5, just to have a fish tank. There's a lot going on in here. If we come into the fish tank, you can see the fish flow around, a little animated thing. There's water bubbles going up to the top. You've got your water pump around the side. And there we have it. That is the update. Hopefully, I've covered it in a precise and simple manner. Let me know if I've done so well. Let me know if I've missed anything in the comment section below, and I will see you next time.